G'day comrade subscribers, hope everyone's well. So it's another little something different. This is a Kavant Quantum or Quant, I think ZX Spectrum. I think it's Belarusian. So what I've seen online is that it was maybe started being built during Soviet times, but this one is definitely post-independent Belarus. It's got a date, or was it month or year? I think it's month. Was it month or weeks? I can't remember. Where is it? There we go. So November 1992, perhaps. Yeah. So yeah, a Kavant. So it's a Kavant. It's a КВАНТ МИКРО ЗВМ. So I had to look up what ЭВМ is. Pardon the pronunciation. So an ЭВМ is an Электронная Вычислительная Машина. Is that right? Электронная Вычислительная Машина. So electronic calculating machine. So electronic computer. ЭВМ. So it's a micro ЭВМ. So, and it's pretty complete actually. So the box is in pretty well. The polys, half of the polys, this is all there is in a bit rough shape. But everything is here, well, apart from the manual, of course. So we've got the machine itself, power supply, block питания, and we have a joystick and sample tape, which is pretty standard. This will be cassette and video, so pretty standard high quality cables. And obviously the machine itself, so it's pretty light, plastic cover. As you can see, when they were designing this machine, priorities 1, 2, 3 and 4 were ergonomics, and above all things, ergonomics. They wanted an ergonomic keyboard. It's not too bad actually, compared to some I've had. It's not too bad a keyboard, but we'll obviously pull that apart. Pretty simple on the back. So say it does feel like a pretty cheap plastic. Wow, Phillips head screws. That's fancy. Or are they Japanese? Someone spotted them once. They got a little dot there, Japanese. Anyway, yeah. So ports on the back. Reset button in English. Then we've got the magnetophone, combined input-output. Then we have the RGB output, again in English. And over here we've got these, I haven't seen these used before. So we have питания, 5 volts, so that's power. 5 volts power. You wonder why is there 8 pins? I don't know. And then we have good old joystick. So that's joystick with a D. Joystick and питания. So interesting as well is they do appear to be identical, don't they? So you don't want to go plugging your power supply into your joystick, I assume. Anyway, we shall see what's on the inside. So that's that. I've never had any luck with these tapes. I don't know what one this is. It's I don't know if it's a Western one or if it's Soviet, post-Soviet. Everything's in English, so it could be cheap Hong Kong tape perhaps. But like I said, I've never had much luck with those. We'll give it a try anyway. So we've got the block питания, the power supply, the joystick. Pull that one apart. Interesting plastic, nice whirls. 2 buttons, so ambidextrous. All 3 buttons actually. Feels pretty solid. There's the connector. So we'll be pulling that one apart as well. There's space in the side there for it. But as usual with all things, we pull apart the block Britannia first. Yeah, block Britannia. Okay, 5 volts and 12 volts, 1 amp. So it doesn't have a, was that price? That normally has price, I'm not sure. 220 volts in. Doesn't look like it's been opened because the security slot is still there. Of course, that can always be faked. And we have a yellow/amber power LED. All right, so Euro plug, and with that 8-pin connector on the back. So let's see what's actually inside it. All right, so I've done most of the screws. And like how it's nice to see someone peel off the protective plastic off a screen for the first time. Let's remove the security slot, maybe, I assume, for the first time. So, no, getting back on the guarantee on this one now. This is more like earwax. Get it? There it is. There we go. So yeah, security earwax, not snot this time. Okay. All right. Feels like okay. Feels like that comes off. Okay. Whoa! Look at all that copper. Nice. Whoa! Look at that heatsink. Okay. Oh, this is a pretty nice one. Jeez Louise. Look at that beefy heatsink. I like that. Oh, I do like that one. So, yeah. What's the output? I don't see 12 volts coming out of this thing. So it's all pretty simple. We've got the power going into the transformer, VVI5, oh no, GVVI5 700.050. So yeah, pretty simple. We've got going into the to the fuse, and then coming out, whatever voltage that is. Then we've got 4 diodes here to rectify. We've got a couple of capacitors to smooth out. 2200 microfarads by the looks of it. Then we've got probably no doubt a 5 volt regulator there. I don't know if we can zoom in anymore. So it's standard, probably Soviet part, that one. But yeah, love the diodes, eh? Pretty cool. Yeah, heavy duty diodes, all right. So that's actually a pretty good looking power supply. I am quite impressed. I quite like it. We'll just get that part number. 91 date stamp. Okay, and then yeah, so then we've got just 2 leads coming out. 2 leads coming. Oops, sorry, 2 leads coming out. That's nice. 2 leads coming out, so there's only 5 volts coming out. So I guess maybe they could have reused this one for 12 volts as well, perhaps, I don't know. But we'll give it a test. Just unwrap it all. So I'll change the plug on this to an Aussie plug. So that's the connector there. Just trying to see what type it's got. Doesn't have any type information. Pretty cheap actually. Pretty cheap plastic there. Okay, you've got a pair of clips on the side here. Looks like just push the clips in like so. Okay, comes off. Alright, and then yeah, you can see just 2 out of the 8 pins are actually in use. Okay, fair enough. I guess, you know, if that's what they had handy, then that's what they had. Okay. So, let me plug this in and test it out. I might just swap the plug first because I've got this adapter, which it doesn't fit into because it doesn't have the earthing kind of thing on the side. So it doesn't really fit in there, that Euro plug. And this one here is a bit too loose. So, turn that off. I will replace it with an Aussie plug. Just trying to... I'm assuming they're not going to be colour coded. So in Australia, I guess a lot of other places too, we're expecting to see brown and blue, or older ones, black and red. But here we've just got two the same colour. So what I need to do is find out which one's connected to the fuse, and I'll connect that one to active. So, not that I know it really matters, but I think by, what's the word, convention? Not that I'm an electrician, so I'll stand to be corrected. But I think by convention we just fuse the actives. We don't fuse active and neutral or something, or we don't mix them. I don't know. Right, continuity. Okay, and what's connected to the fuse? That one. All right, so that'll be our active, and that'll be our neutral. Let me do up the plug, and we'll give it a test. All right, we're ready to go. Turn this slide off. You can see the LED a bit better, perhaps. Power on. Very faint. Very, very faint. But it is running. So I'm just interested to see, okay, what the AC output is. Can I get that? I'll probably get that easiest underneath. All right, those two. Switch to AC. No, nothing coming out. Oh, there we go. Okay, 12 volts. 12.8 volts AC. So 12 volts coming out. And then it should be a regulated 5 volts going out of there, which I guess is... Yeah. Don't point metal things at it, Brett. That's what you keep telling me. So, I don't know if that light's on in it. It's a very, the LED is very, very faint. So I think so what is the DC? DC, okay, so those 2 points there are the DC output. Don't know which is which. That's minus 5 volts. Unbelievable, I still got it round the wrong way. Minus 5 volts. Plus 5 volts, plus 5.3. So that's 5.3 volts out. Close enough, I guess. Power off. Oh, I can just show you the LED. I think I might replace that. I'll turn the light off. It's a very, very, very faint amber. So I'll see what I can do about replacing that. So power supply checks out. Let's open up the computer next. Rightio, let's have a look inside. So CPU, I don't think's anything too exciting. I think it's a Gold Star apparently, which is what is it, Korean? So it's a Western Z80. So not that exciting. But let's see what else is in here. So yeah, Phillips heads, which is very non-Soviet. in my experience. It's got a nice reset button. Okay. Okay. Are they Philips or are they Japanese? The Japanese standard. They look to be Philips. If it was Japanese, I think slightly different. It's got a little dot somewhere if it was Japanese, the Japanese standard. Actually, they all probably several different types. Yeah. Anyway, enough looking at screws. So, zoom out. Alright. Which way is it? Which way shall we go? This way? This way? Okay. It's got a nice big... Okay. That's interesting. So keyboard. We can pull that apart and have a look. So we've got a combination, looks like a mixture. So we've got flathead Philips. Right. So I'm just trying to think, because it looks like there's a screw come out, because there is a screw attached to the speaker. So pretty big speaker. 8 ohm, yeah, all right. Put that there. Pretty standard. Oh no. Ooh. Looks like we've got an East German Z80. Oh, fancy. That makes it more interesting. I'm just trying to think of, because of all this bloody shibari rope stuff, just trying to think of what the easiest way to... So the ropes, that's kind of restricting me a little bit, that bit of rope there. But it is kind of... Shall I cut it or should I just... I decided I'll cut it. I'll sort it out later. That's a little better. So it looks like the speaker is plastic welded on. This air melted plastic. Let's say, what's the easiest way? Pretty good lengths of wire. So yep, so power here obviously, only 2 wires, power going into there, middle of the board. Okay, fair enough. Joystick coming down here. So actually it looks like we've got Western, so we've got 16K, so we've got 2 Western 27C 64 ROMs, but then it looks like it's an East German Z80 clone, a U88D or a UB88D. Let's have a closer look. Okay, so that's where the joystick comes in. So we've got Soviet parts, K561 LE5A, or is that a D? K561 LN1, so you really need to look those up to figure out what the equivalent 7.4 logic is. So pretty much, yeah, it's all Soviet parts. Nice little, where was the, there we go. Nice little resistor array there. I love how they do that. Pretty nicely done, but like I said, yeah, we've got Western EPROMs, and it looks to be an East German Z80. Even look, it could be a UA88D, 880D perhaps. Where's the RAM? So it'll be 64K of RAM, which is usually pretty standard as well. Oh, there's the RAM. Yep, KR565RU5G in this case. But usually these are 64 kilobit, so we have 8 of them. And decoupling capacitors somewhere. Oh, we've got them here. Got a little Space Invader upside down. Haven't seen those type before. Resistors are pretty standard, Soviet resistors. There we go. So pretty standard board. So this is what, maybe a Leningrad, I don't know if it's a Leningrad, you know, they post-Soviet, I think they had this standard Spectrum clone board. So I've seen so many I can't remember what particular iteration this is or what. Right, yep, and so we have, what was it? So this is RGB here and this is magnetophone. So no idea, I don't have the pin out unless they've written down here what it is. So what I'm looking for is RGB and the sync and then ground. So I'm going to have to guess, which is not a problem. Well, there's an op amp, so I assume that's an op amp, which would be that means that would be the cassette decoding section there. Crystal, okay. It's a bit okay. I guess it's been coated in something to because there's no coating on the board. I guess it's been coated in something. There we go. So yeah, pretty standard, nice. Okay, these can be removed, these can be pulled out so they're not bolted into the case. Interesting, good little design. Oh, okay, a little clip at the top, and then these can come out. That's pretty neat. Reset button going down there. Yeah, neat little machine. Got some gunk in there. Right, let's pull apart the joystick, and then I will try to figure out the pin out, RGB pin out, and we'll see if it works. Oh, you wanted to have a look at the keyboard. Okay, let's have a look at the keyboard. So, it's held on by a variety of different screws. By the looks of it. Is that metal or plastic? I don't know. I think that must be. This is it. Alright, so I'll remove the keyboard. We'll have a quick look how the keyboard is constructed. And then we'll have a look at the joystick. So actually it looks like it was these nuts holding the board on. Holding the keyboard on. And okay, so keyboard's off. Interesting, I haven't seen that before. So they just got those in the plastic. I was a bit worried that they might break, so they are a little rusty, so probably could have sprayed some WD-40 on or something to loosen them up. Okay, so which means that, okay, I've undone, so I've just got these two screws at the end now. How you can't disconnect things. Okay, let's see what marvels await us underneath. So be careful I don't lose everything. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't pull this apart, right? Alright. Just be careful because I know there's going to be springs. Okay. Okay, there we go. So pretty simple. I'll try and get everything back how it was. Oh God. Oh man, should have done this at the end. Let me get one out. Okay, I can't put it down on anything now, can I? Because otherwise all the it all come apart. Can I just rest it there? All right, have a look at a keycap. This is the number 6. So quite complicated construction, really. So it looks like we've got some sort of like a O-ring there. Something held on with a bit of metal. Obviously the keycap itself has got the legend, and then it's got some clear plastic over the top of it that's been pushed in. So it's quite, well, relatively complex, I guess. Then the spring goes on, and then this thing goes on the spring. And then I guess, yep, okay, so it's that metal disc there that makes contact. Makes contact here, closing the circuit. There we go. All right, now see if I can get this all back together. Don't put the spring under tension, Brett. Okay. Right, so I just need to just very patiently put all these back in. Right. Okay, I'll put it back together, but yeah, like I said, so this is the pretty simple really, isn't it? Pretty simple. Okay, I'll fix this up, put it back together, and then we'll joystick. Shall we look at the joystick, or shall we just try and power it on and figure out the RGB? Let's try and power it on, eh? Power it on. We'll look at the joystick at the end. Okay. I'm thinking it's not going to go back together the way I pulled it apart, because all of these little things at the end need to go through all these holes, and that's not really going to happen. So I'm probably going to have to do it like that, and then put each key on top and then put the frame back on. Knew I should have done this at the end. So take the key out. Which way is this going? So that will go there. Like so. What can I... No, it needs to... Yeah, alright. Okay, I'll be back. Let me get this done. I think this might be the way to do it. I just tried pulling... I was like, nah. So I think I'm just going to do it this way. Just push the key through from the bottom. And then... Actually, probably put it down on a table and push down on it so that they all come through, and then start screwing it back together. I think that's the way to do it. We've got some space. Just like this, I think, until they all go in. What a pain in the ass design. I guess not really designed for being pulled apart. At least you don't have any kind of rubber contacts that you have to worry about. So I'm kind of getting there slowly. Come on. So I should start screwing it back together. Okay, I'll be back. No. And what was the other one? Why? Yeah, that's... That spring doesn't seem to be working very well, does it? Tempted to replace the keyboard. So I've got this quite nice spare keyboard. Unfortunately it's a bit small. It'll fit in the case, but you'll see this down the bottom. Yeah, because it's just a bit smaller. But the board will fit, but yeah. So it looks like, open it up again. I think this M had the problem before as well. It wasn't maybe some lubrication. That spring just isn't working very well, is it? Alright, I'll have to troubleshoot this bloody keyboard. Or should I just try and figure out the... Look, yeah, okay, I'll worry about the keyboard later. Let's power it on and see if we can figure out the RGB. See if it works. And then I'll fix the keyboard. Okay, I think the keyboard's now okay. I think it should work okay. Right, so I've plugged in the power. It's not very forgiving. It's well, it's plugged in, I guess, but yeah, okay, it is plugged in, but it just feels very janky. So there's tons of space here. So what I would probably do is put a 2.1mm DC socket on here, and you could even probably just change this for a plug as well, because that's, yeah. Anyway, so to figure out the RGB pin out, what I normally do is, I thought I'd made up a board to do this a bit easier, but I can't find it. So I've got a 5-pin DIN here with alligator clips, and then I've got my RGBS plug here, and then I just until something looks decent. So usually pin 2 is ground, and I think that's what that's connected to. The thing is, I can't remember what all those pins. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure that's ground. So hopefully that grabs onto that. No, it doesn't want to. I might have to make these a bit longer. Anyway, I'll set it up and we'll see what happens. No, not getting anything. What was that? Not getting any sound either. So there should be some sound. So I'm not sure either. As you can see, I've put a new yellow LED on, much brighter, but there's no signal, there's no sound. So I'm not sure if it's actually running. And so this power cable's not a bit too dodgy. Nothing's feeling warm. So I think maybe I should just put a 2.1mm socket on, because this is yeah, not even sure if there's any power getting in there. Okay, let me figure this out. Frustratingly, I've not been able to get any sort of, well, stable signal. Not even a black screen. So I think, so I'll show you. So it looks like it's something I'm going to have to troubleshoot, because I'm not getting any sound out of the speaker either. So it makes me think it's not running. So there'd be some garbled rubbish on the screen anyway. So I'll show you what I've got before I move on, because it's like, well, I'll add it to the list of things I need to work on. So I think this one is sync. I think that's sync there. It's got a period of about 64 microseconds, I think. Frequency about 15 kilohertz. So I think that's the sync. So I think that one's sync, which would mean that these were all the colours then. It's all over the place, isn't it? Of course, it's what a black and white screen by default, isn't it? Unless it's a screen of garbage. So that's the red alligator clip. So I think the sync is the green alligator clip. This is the yellow alligator clip. Oh, maybe that's sync. That's yellow. And then we've got the white banana clip. Maybe that's sync. I don't know. So normally what I do is I just, I've got ground's easy. I find the sync, so I get some sort of image, and then it's just a matter of matching the colours, getting the colours RGB correct. But here I'm not sure what I'm doing. No shit, eh? So that's yellow again. And this is the green one, which is what I think sync is. Or I could be wrong. Yeah, alright, so I'll leave that for now. Okay, there is a bit of heat on the Z80. Ooh. Can't really see anything else getting majorly warm. No guarantee that the machine works, although I haven't had too much bad luck with Belarusian machines. Right. Enough of that. Need to think about this a bit more. Right, as promised, we'll have a quick look at the joystick. Screw on. So it looks like a metal shaft actually. Buttons are very, well, mushy. Very mushy buttons. Oh, okay, it's actually screwed in, bolted in. Alright, so we've got two Phillips heads. I can get into there. And I don't know, maybe assume under this rubber feet here that come out. Yep, okay, so rubber feet missing, so I might as well just take those out and replace them, I guess. Alright, I'll undo it and we'll have a look. Okay, screws are out. Alright, yeah, obviously this is still attached to that base, so maybe need to get that different type of screw again, a Phillips head, flathead. Okay, so what goes on here? So it slides up. Oh, wow. Oh, okay, so we've got a little spring there. A little circuit board there that is actually looks disconnected. Doesn't actually look connected at all, but that's pretty neat. And then we've got a little bit of metal there to stop it going all the way up. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. Good bit of quality to some Western joysticks at the time. So does this, because okay, so this is bolted to here. I assume, does this top come off? Okay, top comes off. Okay. Whoa. Pretty good. Does the job. You can see here we've just got a metal plate that's there you go, the okay, that's the fire buttons. Metal plate that's bolted into the base here. We've got some springs under there. We've got springs here, and then obviously we've got these contacts here for the four. That's quite a good I think it's just as good as micro switches even. What do you reckon? With the added bonus that you don't have a mechanical switch to wear out. Alright, and then we've got 2 fire buttons up here. So again, I said they're quite mushy. So, oh, okay, so this could probably maybe... So these are pretty simple by the looks of it. Just got two bits of metal, and we just make contact like that with the button. So I guess after a while, I don't know if you can pull that up a bit. Pulling it up a bit might make it a bit better. Yeah, okay. So maybe you could replace these with micro switches. Maybe that might give you a better feeling, perhaps. It just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't give you a positive, it's making contact, but it just doesn't give you a positive kind of feel about it. So I don't know, mate. This is probably going to be one of the better post-Soviet joysticks I've seen. Yeah, because there's no spring there either, so you're just relying totally on this for the spring. Yeah, I'd replace these if possible. And this one up here doesn't even look connected. So probably it looks like it's just broken, that's all. It's just, unless they never, although maybe they never connected it, because if you've already got 2 fire buttons, so it looks like that probably should have gone up. There's a little hole in the PCB, so I could probably repair that. I might be able to do that. But what do you reckon? I don't know if I can replace these, because because otherwise it's I think it's not a bad action. Okay, that's pretty much it for part 1, I think. Disappointing. I'm sorry that the machine's not working. Well, it doesn't seem to be working. Like I said, I'm expecting at least there to be a the key. When you press keys on a specky, you get that little noise. So that wasn't coming out. I wasn't able to get a stable image. Right, well, okay, I've got to tie you all up. I want to get back to working on the alpha. What a rabbit hole that is. I'm trying to replace the 8080 at the moment, desolder that, because the 8080, why was I doing the 8080? Okay, because the, well, I got you, okay. I'll show you what I've been doing. Let me get the alpha. So here's the alpha. So I'm trying to desolder this one. So I've replaced the 8275 CRT controller with a, well, it's a genuine Intel part. Didn't make any difference still. It's still not sending output enable to the character ROM, which in turn means we're not getting any data out, which anyway. But there is a CRT chip select that's supposed to come from here via, there's a decoder. One of these is a decoder, D13, decoder here. I think it's a 3 to 8 decoder or something like that. So we're supposed to get an address out of here, A11, 12 and 13 perhaps, and that chooses which chip select, RAM, ROM, CRT. So I never saw this, so the chip select on the 8275 remains high. It's active low, I think, so it remains high. So that's not being selected at all. So yeah, I did have a think, oh, maybe it's just the ROM, maybe it's just the firmware ROM, because everything else is pointed that way and the firmware ROM's pointed that way. Because pin 1's here and everything else, pin 1's up here. But I did actually check, and yeah, it is the right way around. Anyway, so that's what I'm trying to do on the Alpha BK at the moment. It's starting to get a bit frustrating. So, all right, before I go, I'll just have another quick look at the. I'll do another close up of the board for you. One thing you notice actually on this machine is that there is no expansion at all. They basically said, no, cassette's enough. We've given you a joystick. We've given you RGB. So there is no expansion interface on here. Right, so one last close-up. Figure out the best way to do these close-ups handheld. But one thing I noticed here, notice how they're using the wire to hold as a cable, to hold cable tie down along. But they also, if I go up here, they also had to do it here. Had to go around because they that's where they put the hole for the screw, so they had to go around it. Little things like that. So there's obviously the crystal. What's that? That's this one's speaker. This one's reset button. So I think that's op amp or something for the cassette. All this logic here that you basically can't figure out. You have to decode it. So that's RAM. That's the DRAM, 64 kilobit DRAMs. And like I said, I think this is a, well, it's an 880D. So I think it's an East German. I think it's East German. Looks like 880D anyway. 2 8K ROMs, 16K ROM in total. Yeah, so keyboard interface, and what have we got here? This is joystick interface, and up here we've got power in. It's a random place to put power for the power to come in. Actually, one thing I did notice, I think they have actually made allowance. So you've got power in on these two pins here, and here's the joystick, exactly the same, but I think they skip. Did they? Yeah. So they've skipped those two pins. So even if you accidentally plugged power into the joystick, it's not going to do anything because those two pins aren't connected. So, clever design. Clever design. Well done. Yep, that's about it. Reset button. It's quite nice. Nice feel. Nice reset button. There we go. That's the Quant, the Kavant. There's the speaker, and to be continued. Bye for now.